We've already seen mission Vande Bharat actually starting. We've seen phase 1 of it as well. In the phase 2, there are 31 other countries that have been listed as well. But we're going to speak to a family that is stuck in a country which is not on that list. So we're just going to try and add them to the live here so we can, start the live with them. So far, more than 1.8 lakh Indians have returned from foreign countries. Phase 1 is already over. We're trying to see phase 2 is going to start from the 16th of May. And there are many families that are still waiting. Tell us a little bit about how many of you all are there and how your trip started. It started with a holiday which was supposed to be 2 weeks.
Right. So we left on the 14th. We were here in Istanbul on the 14th of March, and we started off our trip. Nothing seemed like an issue at that time. There was one coronavirus case in Turkey. So on 16th was when the news came out regarding flights being shut down from the 18th of March for Turkey, European Union, and various other UK countries. So because of that, it was physically impossible for us to move anywhere from Kusadasi, which is far away from Istanbul, and get back to Istanbul and catch a flight back home.
Okay.
So post that, we continued with our trip normally, after which on 25th March, we flew back to Istanbul because we were scared what if internal flights shut down in Turkey as well, and if we can't reach Istanbul in case of a rescue flight. So we took a flight back to Istanbul, and since 25th March, we've been at the same apartment.
Right. Tell us a little bit about, the fact that your grandparents are accompanying you. They're also worried, of course, reading a lot about how the elderly are far more vulnerable doesn't help, and it must be stressing them out as well.
Right. So actually, the reason why we planned this trip was that my grandfather, he's seen Turkey in a lot of films, and he just told my father out of the blue that I really want to visit this place, and that's why we actually planned this trip for them. And initially, they were very enthusiastic about the entire thing, but later on, after the lockdown came in, we took it really positively. But after a point, when the second lockdown came in, my grandparents felt a little depressed, because they wanted to get back home. And it's really difficult sustaining here because we were out of medicine stock. We luckily had 15 days extra medical supply with us, but beyond that, we really had to, find replacements for them. And the medicines here were pretty expensive also. And there were certain medicines where we actually had to go get a doctor's prescription at the hospital in Istanbul and then, work out things. So it became really difficult to manage all this for them.
Tell us a little bit about the financial aspect of how difficult this must have been, because there is the financial aspect, there is also the extreme mental health issues, because you're stuck inside, you're worried, you don't know when you can get back home, and all of this is happening while you are in a foreign country.
So I'll focus on the mental aspect and I'll let my dad take over on the financial bit here. So mentally, actually, when we talk about it, all of us were pretty stable till the first lockdown period. And as already Malika mentioned, when the phase 2 lockdown came in, my grandparents especially were really, really like sad. And my grandfather, he's an Alzheimer's patient. So, he asks at least 40 to 50 times a day, when are we getting back home? Because he keeps forgetting every few minutes. But and the fact that he doesn't even remember that we've been here for 2 months. So, it's really sad to see him in that state. And it really like burns our heart that, we also can't do much about it, because over here only the government can intervene and, take a step of taking us back home. That's the entire thing that is going to, relieve us of all the mental stress and tension that's there over here.
Absolutely.
I'll let my dad take over for the financial bit here.
Finances we can still manage. I mean, that's not a major issue here by transferring funds. But because of the lockdown, transfer of funds also wasn't easy, because there was a lockdown in India also, and banks weren't functioning, and we were not carrying all the credit cards. So anyway, that's not the big thing. But the emotional, the stress of having parents who are under constant stress, that becomes a very difficult thing. we had to keep pacifying them every few minutes. Okay, we'll be okay, we'll be okay, we'll go, because they keep worrying. कि अगर बीमार हो गए, if we fall sick, what will happen? So those are the issues that are much larger that we have to tackle.
Absolutely. In fact, you
Yeah.
were also, I mean, earlier when I had a conversation with you, that time, you talked about how there are many Indians, about 200, 220 of them, who you have, some of them have reached out to you, you've reached out to them. How have, I mean, where are they staying? What is their accommodation like? Can you give us an idea as to how they are dealing with what?
Some of them are have approached the embassy, and the embassy has given them accommodation. They in a lot of cases, in some cases, the embassy is also providing food and all. So I mean, as far as that is concerned, we are not worried. But the Indian community over here is the most amazing. I've had at least 40 people call me. Once they read the articles that kept coming in the paper, to offer all kinds of assistance. So all the Indians over here of any community, I mean, every Indian over here is literally going out of the way to help people stranded, to the extent that some of them, they have a community over, they have a group, so they put it in the Indian, they approach the embassy people, and they have put it in the group also, that if any person needs any kind of assistance, any kind means literally everything that they are willing to provide. So that is quite amazing what they've done for some of these people, what they've gone out of the way to help. That's the whole thing. So that gives you a lot of moral support. But then still, we are at a point where we need to get home. Yeah. I mean, it's been very long. See, my daughters both of them have their final CA exams coming. So they will not get time to prepare. Then we lose those 6 months. It's a critical 6 months. It will be pushed to May then. The November attempt will go to May. And then, of course, the family issues, those health and other issues. My office suffering and all that, I'm not even talking about. So, but the other things are much more important. And about the other Indians who are staying here, there are a lot of them who are in much worse conditions. So literally, they are health-wise also they are pretty bad, and financially also some of them are really weak. So for them it becomes a problem. When every now and then it's quite embarrassing to go and ask the embassy for help. So for them it's difficult to pull on, and eating out also is a challenge. It's expensive over here. So those people are really the ones who have not come with family are having a really hard time.
Right. And you've spoken to some of them. Some of them have suffered personal tragedies in India. They've not been able to come back. Some is expecting a baby but is not in India. Tell us a little bit about what are the issues that they are going through.
There's a honeymoon couple who'd come here only for a week, and they actually flew on the 16th of March. They were just for a week, and they lost their father on the 1st of May. So they couldn't even go for that. I mean, just a single child, the mother is absolutely alone in this lockdown. Who will be there with her? So it's very difficult for them to, get over this crisis. There is this friend who has his wife is pregnant, and it's a critical pregnancy. So there again, the hospital was an issue, because how the situation is. Most hospitals are not even admitting patients right now. So, it becomes very difficult for them to manage these things sitting here. There are quite a few old people. In fact, more than a month ago, there was a video of people who had they shot the video outside the embassy, and they were literally crying on the video. That they were saying that we don't want to die here, we want to die in India. To that extent, they were going. So it's quite tragic that all these people have to just keep staying here, and I think the government should expedite.
So, phase 2, the list is out. There are 31 countries, but Turkey is not one of them. What is the coronavirus situation in Turkey at the
moment? See, there are approximately 1.5 lakh cases. It is within the top 7 or 8, within the top 10 infected countries in the world right now. Of course, the recovery is good, but still it's quite scary, with so many people who are infected. We are literally locked in the house only. We hardly move out unless, of course, we have to buy groceries. That's all. But then you have to be very careful. Yeah.
Yes, even that comes with its fair share of anxiety, even in that case, because you come back and again you have aged parents in the apartment you're staying in. You need to take precautions. All of those things go along with it as well.
Right. Till the time that we are out, my parents are very worried. Till the time we get back home for the groceries, also they just keep waiting. They literally waiting at the window, looking out if they can either spot us. So yeah, it does become challenging. Tell me.
Right. And is there anything that you all are seeking in terms of, now you talked about the Indian community really going out of their way to try and help you in whatever way possible. Is there anything that you try and do to, mentally try and keep the spirits up? Because it's of course very difficult in this time because you're constantly indoors and you're hearing only about what's happening outside in terms of the pandemic.
Yeah,
So basically, a lot of times if we read any news or we get any message, which, it gives us a small ray of hope that, something can happen. Any small development, we go share it with my grandparents so that, even
and the
they
people
feel
around.
that, something is happening, it's in progress, and, we will get airlifted, it'll happen very soon. So, I mean, that is one way that we keep ourselves, really uplifted at all points of time.
And we keep sharing that little bit of good news within that of the group that we formed, the WhatsApp group that is there for the Indians who are stranded. So we keep sharing with each other, we keep pumping the spirits, and we keep telling them, okay, don't lose hope, because some of them are literally given up. They were like, "वो बोलते हैं, we will never reach, only पहुंचेंगे नहीं ऐसे तो और 2 महीने निकलेंगे." So it doesn't look that bad. I think that the government is now seriously considering, adding Turkey to the list within this. It's likely, but let's hope it does happen. Until the time it doesn't, we are still waiting.